can taste you, I can taste
Hello, my name is Sharon. I'm the Nutrition Education Coordinator at MCFI, and welcome back to our cooking demos. Today we're going to be making a baked macaroni casserole, so let's get started. We already have our ground beef started here with our noodles, so as they're warming up a little bit more, we want to take our vegetables. So our chopped vegetables today are our bell peppers. Toss them in the pan. We have onions today. You can do white onions, red onions, different types, whichever is your favorite. Today we just did white onions. Ooh, make sure that everything's all right here. Then we have our mushrooms. Now I really enjoy mushrooms. I think they add a nice flavor, but like I said, you can do any vegetables that you like. I think this is a really easy recipe to kind of mix up, turn it into something individual, unique, and it's great for the family. So before every cooking demo, I always wash my hands, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I actually got my nails done for once. If you're like me and you get your nails done for special occasions, always make sure that you wash your hands thoroughly. So you can always wash your hands like this to get underneath your nails. You can scrub up, and you can also take scrub brushes and go underneath your nails. If you're a little bit more concerned or you have like press-ons or something, you can always go up one glove size, and that'll also help you make sure that your nails keep you safe and hygienic while also looking pretty fabulous. So as the ground beef cooks in with the vegetables, and we notice the sizzle starts and it starts smelling good and everything, that's when you go ahead and you go over with your seasoning. We have some oregano, we have some beef seasoning, a little bit of ground pepper, and some garlic powder. Now, after a little bit of time, once it cooks, we want to take our noodles and we want to add them in. So these are macaroni noodles. You can use penne noodles, you can use rotini noodles. To kind of give it more of a family-friendly vibe today, we're going to do macaroni noodles. I know a lot of kids are more familiar with them, so they enjoy them better. So kind of mix them in a little bit. Now everything today is pre-cooked just for your time and convenience and our time as well. But know that this recipe normally takes about 20 to 30 minutes to cook overall. And then once you get into the baking portion of that, it can take about 10 to 15 minutes depending on how well you cooked everything ahead of time. So now that we've mixed that in, you want to take about half a cup of marinara sauce and put that around your vegetables and on top of the meat and everything else. Right now, we're making the mix of the casserole, or as I like to call it, the fluff, the middle, the part that you enjoy eating. But overall, we're getting it to cook together so that way the flavor spreads evenly throughout. And we just mix. Now sometimes I take a separate spoon to be able to help me. And as this cooks down, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So of course, we are a nutrition show, so I had to tell you a little bit of fun things about the nutrition elements of our food today. So like onions. Onions are rich in antioxidants. Onions are rich in antioxidants. They're actually really good for helping you if you have like inflammatory issues. And overall, they try to like reduce the inflammation, but they can also lower cholesterol. So onions are really good for you overall. And this meal today is a great source of protein, and it's also a great way to add in your veggies. So sometimes people would take like red bell peppers instead of green bell peppers and add them in. They're a little bit more they disguise a little bit better. So if you have kids and you want to try to get them to get their vegetables in for the day, you can put the red peppers in there and they're going to be able to taste them, but they won't be able to feel like, what is this? Like in my mouth, it's pretty good. So now that this is cooked down some, and once the peppers have started to soften a little bit, but they still have a bit of a crunch, you start to see a see-through with the onions, and you can tell that they've cooked down some. Now we can move them over into our pan. So I've already sprayed our pan here with a little bit of olive oil. You don't want to go crazy with the olive oil, but we want to make sure that it covers the pan and coats the pan. We're going to turn off the open flame. Always make sure you turn off your flame before moving something off of it. You don't want it to like go up and potentially injure you. So we're gonna move our pan over like this and tilt it to go down. So now we have the base of our casserole. This is a pretty shallow pan, but you can make a bigger, like more of a portion for this for a family. I want to spread it out a little bit. Now take one egg. I like to season my egg, that way that you get that taste while also making sure that it sticks together. So this egg today is seasoned with a little bit of oregano, a little bit of paprika, and some black pepper. So we're going to pour that over onto the casserole. Set your bowl to the side. Take your spoon and try to make it as even as possible when you're mixing it around. The reason you want it to be as even as possible is because you want to get that good cut. Whenever you cut into a casserole and it's a piece, it comes out. That's where the egg comes in, is to keep it stuck all together. Now at this option, or at this step, you have the option to add a couple more noodles to the pot. These noodles are already cooked, so I'm just going to add a couple more just to keep it a little bit more full, so that way it's not as shallow. And we're going to mix it around. So one of my favorite things about this recipe is that it's great for whenever you're cooking dinner. And it's also great to take to an event, something very simple and very flavorful and fulfilling as well. So now that we've mixed everything up, the most important part of before we bake it is to even it out. You want to make it as even as possible for the next part. The next step is to take the rest of your marinara sauce, about a cup's worth, and we're going to pour it evenly on top. This is going to create a beautiful layered effect. And by the time you finish baking your casserole, it should look all red on top, and then it'll have like the rest of it at the bottom. So we're going to smooth it out over the top. So our oven is already preset to 350. It's been warming over here, so I'm nice and warm today. And once you've finished evening that out, we'll go ahead and pop it in the oven. I know that you noticed we have some grated cheese here. So after you've already cooked this for about 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to go back over the top and put the cheese on top and let it sit for another 5 minutes if you want that melted cheese effect. So we're going to go ahead and put this one in the oven. All right. And we have a special surprise for you. We already have one done, so you don't have to wait 10 to 15 minutes today. We're going to pull this one out. And voila! It's already finished for you. And this is what the final product should look like. It should be very even. This is with the baked cheese on top. And if you can kind of see, is there a way to see on the side where you can get the layer of the red sauce on top? and then the rest of it on the bottom. So I really hope you enjoyed this cooking demo today, that this is something wonderful that you can share with your family, or you can take to different events and spaces, and that you guys can enjoy overall. Thank you to Hungry Task Force again for having us, and we appreciate you watching. Until next time.